luxury, as with anything we purchase, there can be regrets. Now, I wanted to test a theory, so I decided to put a little question box on my Instagram stories asking people, what are the luxury items you regret buying? I also then decided to forage into the depths of Reddit and seeing what other threads had sort of answered it, and I wanted to see the common denominators. What were the ones that kept coming up every time? What wasn't just an isolated incident and, you know, like, oh, I bought this bag and it was white and I never wear white bags and that's why it was a regret for me. I wanted, like, give me the details as to why we don't like this item because of the way that it is made or whatever else, okay? Not just for the style and how it suits you. So we've got some interesting findings. Guys, if you're new here, my name is Cassie and I'm a self-diagnosed luxury addict. I put out videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, so if you like luxury fashion, well, then you're probably going to love it here. So head down there, subscribe, turn on the bell, become a member of our luxury addicted family. When are we going to rehab? Never. I also have a Substack that will be linked below. Starting off with one that might be obvious, might not be obvious, let's see. The Louboutin So-Kates. This is a very classic heel. This is usually, if you look at old videos that are like designer items you should start off by buying, people always used to recommend Louboutin shoes. Now, the funny thing about Louboutin is that the man has actually come out and said, listen, the comfort is not my priority, okay? It's mainly about how the foot looks. And the way that the foot looks sexiest is not necessarily the most comfortable. The So-Kates are a prime example of this. This is a 120mm height stiletto, pointed toe, and that arch is arching. I have not heard one person go, do you want to know what, a So-Kate? Oh, could last all day in that, could dance all night on the tabletops. No, because I'm putting two and two together and I'm making four, and I could have told you just by looking at them that those are not the most comfortable things. But yes, you see why people buy them. They're classic. They're a shoe design that's been around for forever, okay? In the world of luxury shoes, Louboutin, this is a surefire winner. Now, the comfort was obviously the key reason why people have beef with this. I will say that, as of last year, Louboutin has expanded to maybe consider comfort ever so slightly more, and have debuted the Miss Z, or Miss Z, depending on where you are in the world, pump, which sort of has a couple of different design elements in that the back of the heel is sort of cut in ever so slightly, so you get a flash of the red sole even from the side of the heel itself. And also there is a sort of cushion in there to ease up a little bit, make you feel more comfortable wearing them. And I have heard that actually, do you want to know what, this is a pretty decently comfortable shoe. Again, pointed toe, you can get a very similar vibe from the Miss Z that you can if you want something like the So-Kate. So that one was unsurprising. The other one that was unsurprising to me are the Saint Laurent Opium heels. Those are some killers of shoes. These are the shoes that have the Cassandra logo as the heel itself. Listen, great idea. Looks cool. Oh my god, what? You've got the logo as the heel? Brilliant. Excellent. Okay, innovation. Wonderful. Atrocious to walk in. Very uncomfortable. I think because the heel is metal and I don't know physics-wise, would it be physics? A mix of physics and biology maybe. Why that hurts the way it does. But that is not a comfortable heel. Again, you might have resigned yourself to, comfort is not my priority. I hear you. I have many shoes in this that I didn't buy them because they were comfortable. I bought them because the vibes were on 10, all right? So I understand those situations. But yes, the YSL Opium heel did also pop up a lot. Is a Chanel Jumbo. This bag was particularly popular, I want to say, in like around the 2010s. It wasn't just a Chanel classic flap. This was the Jumbo. This could land a sodding plane, it was that big. Ginormous. They now have the travel flap, which, fun fact, if you want a massive Chanel flap bag, go for the travel flap. Why? It's cheaper than the Jumbo, because it's not like technically a classic flap and it's not got the double flap and whatever else. And it's bigger and a little bit slouchier and cooler, if you ask me. But the Jumbo size really had us in a chokehold for a while there. It was the Chanel size to get. Big bag energy was ruling. That size isn't going to work for everybody, is it? Let's not lie. It's also heavy. And because of that, the main concern, the main like reason that everybody who submitted it said that it was a bad purchase is because it's just too big. It's cumbersome. It's not like a slouchy big bag that can sort of mold itself to your body. This is a structured bag that is going to take up space. In that same vein, the Fendi Peekaboo came up. And two sorts of reasons were raised about this. Number one, it being too structured and ladylike. And so it sort of like doesn't feel all that right in casual situations. And I think that I would understand that, but I sort of think that, you know, even with very structured bags, I think if your outfit is maybe a bit more casual, you can like balance things out a bit. But the other thing about this bag is the whole point of the Peekaboo is that it has this metal frame in the middle of the bag. It's a divider. And that in itself is heavy. This is not a light bag. They have like versions of the Peekaboo that don't really sort of like have the divider where it's like ever so slightly lighter because it's made out of a different material. But generally the classic versions have got some weight to them because of that. And because of that, it means that you are sort of restricted in how much you can fill this bag or what you can put in it, because it's got that very clear like, okay, this is the window that comes down, and you have this section, and that can't overlap, and the leather is quite stiff on it, so it's not like you can sort of, I'm trying to think of something. Okay, like this bag, if you overfill it, it will just sort of mold to whatever's inside it. You can't do that with a structured bag. So again, it's very restrictive. That's the beef with that. I will say that my sort of antidote to that one is, I know that they're coming out with, first of all, they've started introducing the Peekaboo Soft. So you do have a little bit less structure there. It maybe feels a bit more casual. And for 2026, they are introducing the, I think it's the Go bag, the Go-To bag, the To-Go bag. That is essentially the Peekaboo minus that divider in the middle. So if you like that sort of triangular-y style, maybe you'll be interested in that one, or like I mentioned, the sort of softer versions that exist now. The Hermes Chypre sandals. These are the Hermes dad sandals that everybody went mental for. Two combinations here. Number one was blisters. It's not the most comfortable at all. And then the other one was just like, it was too trendy. There were a few pieces that people mentioned that it was just like, clearly the sort of hype got them, and the sort of practicality and whether this made sense to them and how much they liked it sort of came secondary. So that was the Hermes Chypres. The other ones that came up like that, the Chanel 22. Again, like too trendy, didn't really sort of like fit with my vibe or what I was after. Listen, it happens to the best of us. We've all been in those situations where we've been like absolutely foaming at the mouth over something because you see it so much and there's a hype and you're like, oh my gosh, wait, this is really cool, isn't it? Yeah, I think this is me. Yeah, I think it is. And then we trick ourselves into buying something when we're like, actually, do you want to know what? I haven't really used that because it's actually not that me. The Goyard St. Louis tote. And this one has sort of structural issues with it in that the handles melt. This is not the first time I've heard about this. I've seen, actually, I think I can pull a video of somebody mentioning this. I don't know what glue is used on the handles, but if it is exposed to too much sun, which is funny considering that this bag was meant to be a beach bag. Like this bag was made with the intention of being somewhere where the sun shines. Turns out if it gets too hot, the handles actually can melt. The glue on them can melt off, which not only damages whatever clothes you're wearing, but it's just, that shouldn't be happening. That's the long and short of it. That's ridiculous. So buyer beware for that one. I'm personally not really a Goyard person. I don't know, maybe if the right thing came along, but like I'm not really, you know, into Goyard that much. But I would say out of all of them, the St. Louis is maybe the last one to look at, truly. Because, again, it's a very thin canvas because it was meant to be a beach bag. This wasn't meant to be like, okay, I'm commuting to work, I'm pounding the pavement, this needs to have my laptop in it and do right by me. But then you also have that thing with the strap, come on. Nah, that's unacceptable behaviour. That's what that is. By the way, my antidote to the Goyard St. Louis tote, if you've bought the St. Louis, it's because you don't want the Louis Vuitton Neverfull. Have a look at Moina. Have a look at, I mean, there are so many other, the Gucci, Giglio. Gucci generally in their men's and women's totes have some very, very good designs. Again, they have like a pouch inside of them. The Do Your Book tote also came up, and sort of similar-ish to the Fendi Peekaboo, this is a heavy bag, especially if you fill it, and with the medium size, I mean, what, you're going to put your wallet and I don't know, a hair clip in there and hope for the best? No, you're going to fill it, you're going to use it, which only just contributes to the weight of the already, you know, not light bag. And then on top of that, there was a hype and a trendiness about it. Here's the thing, I don't have a beef with trendy items at all. I don't think there's anything wrong with trends. I don't think there's anything wrong with trendy items. It just has to make sense for you. There are certain people who are trendy people, okay? And they only like the trendy pieces and all of that, and they use them. Fab. There are people who gravitate to much more classic pieces and they're not interested in anything trendy. Cool. There are people who are, do you want to know what? I like what I like. Sometimes it's trendy, sometimes it's classic, but I'm going to use it. Great. As long as you use the things, as long as those things are you and your style and you know that you will get some use out of it, or if it's not even something that you will like use on a daily basis, it's something that when I do use, I love. That's the most important thing. Like I said, we can all crumble to trends that just sucked us in and got us there, and you know, they weren't necessarily our style. So that's a little bit of an overarching lesson from this. The other one that came up a lot, regardless of brands, were wallets on chain, because they turn out to be a lot smaller than people want them to be. I am an ambassador of TBE Tiny Bag Energy. I love a tiny bag. I do not mind holding my phone. That is what my pop socket is for. However, I understand this is not what a lot of people's lifestyles lend themselves to. So again, okay, like I would always like to think that a wallet on chain is great. I think they're super versatile as like evening bags as well, or like if you're on holiday and you don't need much with you and you're just like sort of, you know, get me my cards and keys, fantastic. But yes, for an everyday bag, that probably isn't going to be the one.
And aside from them being small, a few people mentioned that they wish that they'd have just sprung for a proper quote-unquote bag instead of getting the wallet on chain version, and they would have got way more use out of a handbag.
Now, I did sort of want to end on a very interesting thing that I noticed, which is one brand came up significantly more than all of the other brands. And I will mention the range of pieces, therefore, it's bags, it's mainly bags. Saint Laurent, okay? The Saint Laurent puffer, the Saint Laurent Lou in the toy size, in the small size, the Saint Laurent Rive Gauche tote, the Saint Laurent, okay, a pair of trainers came up, the envelope, just like over and over again, it was YSL bags. And I was like, okay, I wonder why this is happening. And it was that the leather is too delicate. It was that the shape ended up annoying me. I ended up not liking the fact that the logo is just sort of stuck on there. Like it wasn't like in a canvas or whatever, it was just like front and center. I think also because Saint Laurent is always mentioned as positioned as like a really great option in general. Like the price point tends to be a little bit more approachable. Other brands that would offer something within that price point are a bit more shouty. So like Gucci, yes, but you're going to have a Gucci monogram, you know, in most cases. Louis Vuitton, same thing, okay? So I see why people go, okay, well, I don't want something too logo-y, so this is a really great sort of other option. And I feel like there's not that many brands. Then you would sort of have a brand like Givenchy, but the styles are very different. And Saint Laurent has so many styles, and it's almost like, well, there's something for everybody, you know? But I did find it extremely interesting that that was the main brand that came up as people regretting. And I think also the most popular one mentioned was the Lulu, which is always touted as being like an incredible first designer bag and all of this. And so I think it's interesting that, you know, maybe a lot of people made that decision because of that, or because like it's obviously a really great everyday bag. You know, it's a crossbody flap style bag. Like what could go wrong? I didn't actually expect there to be this much crossover in product, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what was like your worst, some of your luxury regrets. These things do happen. Happens to the best of us. So yeah, share some of your luxury regrets below. I'm going to leave a link to another video over here in case you haven't already seen it. Have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. In the words of my father,
if you've enjoyed it, tell your friends. If you haven't, keep your mouth shut.
I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye, guys.